Hi, I'm John with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we're going to be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember that anytime you work on an appliance, make sure that it is unplugged or the circuit breaker is turned off so there is no chance of electrocution. We're going to show you how to install a new lip seal kit for a Maytag washer. It's a job that requires a Phillips head screwdriver, a flat blade screwdriver, a 1/4 inch nut driver, a 5/16 inch nut driver, a hammer, a small block of wood, a 9/16 inch wrench, a torque wrench, and a 9/16 inch socket. When you open the package, you'll get a whole new lip seal kit that includes the new seal, installation tool, bearing, O-ring, grease, washers, bolt, and instructions. The reason why you'd be replacing the lip seal kit is if water leaks during washer use or if there's an unusual sound during operation. You'll start by opening the front door. Now for this repair, we're going to need to remove the door assembly, so we'll have to take out the screws that hold the hinges in place. Now you're going to just need to lift up on the door slightly to pull it out. You'll also need to remove these two mounts that are on the right side of the front panel. Pull forward on the front of the panel, tilt it down, and then lift up and remove it. The next thing we're going to need to do is open the detergent door and then remove the 4 Phillips head screws to be able to take off this panel. Use a 5/16 inch nut driver to loosen and remove the 2 screws that hold the top panel in place. Lift up on the top panel and tilt it back. With the top tilted back, you'll now have access to the door latch assembly. We'll start by removing these 3 wiring harness connections. And then use a 5/16 inch nut driver to loosen and remove the 2 screws that hold it in place. You'll need to disconnect the door boot seal that goes around the outside edge of this front plastic panel. To do so, you need to pull down and remove each of these little tabs that hold it in place. Then lean forward and slide sideways this panel and it should pull right off. We're going to need to remove the 6 screws that hold this main bracket assembly in place. Use a 5/16 inch nut driver to loosen and remove each of the screws. So after removing each of the 6 screws, we can now take off this metal mount assembly. You'll need to remove the series of metal clips that hold the outer and the inner portion of the tub together. Use a flat blade screwdriver to pry up and remove each of the metal tabs. With all of the retaining clips removed, we can now separate the inner and outer portions of the tub. Simply pull out and drop it down. Now that the front is disassembled, we'll lower down the top and we'll need to remove this rear access panel. Use a 1/4 inch nut driver to loosen and remove the 4 retaining screws. You'll need to remove the drive belt. To do so, simply pull out on the edge of the belt and then rotate the pulley and the belt should come right off. Use a 9/16" wrench to loosen and remove the bolt that retains the pulley. Use a piece of wood to protect the end of the shaft as you hit it with a hammer. And then, for a little more room to work, we're going to lift up the top. Then, pull straight forward on the drum to remove it from the machine. With the drum removed, you'll now need to take out this seal assembly in the back. Use a flat blade screwdriver and carefully go in, pry up on the edges, and it should start to loosen. We'll need to remove this bearing assembly, so use a flat blade screwdriver to lift up on the edges of it and start to lift it slowly. And after some careful prying, it should slide off the shaft. You'll need to remove the small O-ring. Here's the old lip seal parts next to the new ones. If you already have the new parts, great. If not, you can get them from appliancepartspros.com. With the old seal removed, we'll need to go in and clean up any old debris, laundry soap, grease, anything that might not make for a good seal. Once everything is cleaned up in here, we're going to need to position the new seal in place. And then we're going to use this installation tool. It's going to go right inside the seal, and it allows us to hit it in evenly so it doesn't go in sideways. Use a hammer to gently tap in on the new seal assembly. Afterwards, remove the installation tool, and now the new lip seal is in place. Before installing the new parts, we're going to need to clean the shaft assembly, making sure that there's no grease, grime, dirt, rust, or old soap deposits. You might need to take a screwdriver to clean things up here, or take a rag to clean up the grease, or maybe even a piece of sandpaper to remove any rust or scaling. Once the shaft assembly is clean, we'll need to install the new O-ring. Then we'll need to position and press into place the new bearing. You can use a tool, such as a flat blade screwdriver, to help push it in place. With the new lip seal kit comes some high temperature grease that needs to be applied to the shaft before installing the tub back in the washer. Once you've installed the new lip seal and the new parts here with the grease, we can reinstall the tub assembly. Position it in here, and then you're going to have to get the shaft to go through the bearing in the back. Rotate it a little bit, and it'll slip into position. Once the tub is in place, we can now reinstall the main pulley. Align the ribs, and then push it forward. Add the large washer, and then add the new bolt and washer. Thread it in finger tight. We'll now need to use a torque wrench to tighten the bolt to 33 pounds. To prevent the pulley from turning when you torque it, you're going to need to wedge something in there to hold it, or have a friend come in. This is our friend Erwin, and he is going to hold the wheel while I torque it. Reinstall the belt by first positioning it on the motor pulley. On the other end of the belt, push the belt edge against the large pulley and then rotate the pulley, which will pull the belt into place. Reinstall the rear access panel, then thread in and tighten the 4 retaining screws. Now we can reinstall the outer portion of the tub assembly. Let's put it in position. Get everything lined up. We'll now need to reinstall all of the clips that hold the inner and outer tub in position. Locate the clip in its proper position and then push it down into place. Reinstall the metal mount assembly, and then use a 5/16 inch nut driver to thread in and tighten the 6 retaining screws. Reinstall the plastic front panel, making sure that the 3 tabs on the bottom lock into place. Position the outer edge of the new door boot seal on the plastic panel. Then, press each of the rubber tabs into the slots on the panel. Reinstall the latch assembly, and then thread in and tighten the 2 retaining screws. Reconnect each of these wiring harness connections here. Afterwards, we need to take this small green wire, and it's actually a safety release wire for the latch. So in case this gets stuck, you can always open the detergent door here and pull on this, which will release the lock. So this goes right in here. Then lower down the top. Thread in and tighten the 2 screws that retain the top panel. Reinstall the detergent dispenser cover. Then thread in and tighten the 4 retaining screws. Position the front panel so that its base sits on the 2 lower mounting tabs. Then tilt the panel back so that it clips into place. Reinstall the 2 hinge covers that secure to the right side of the front panel. Then reinstall the door by positioning the hinges in place and then let them drop down slightly. Thread in and tighten the 2 door hinge screws. Afterwards, close the front door, reconnect the power cord, and then your appliance should be ready for use. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. And be sure to check out our other repair videos on our website, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube channel.